Hello, this is Bill Steffen. Got a couple of surprises for you. Some Disney pictures coming up here in just a couple minutes. But first, let's talk about this amazing weather pattern that we've had here day after day of sunshine. The last 4 days, we've had more than 99% of possible sunshine. It's been clear at night, and that's allowed us a chance to see the moon, which is getting more and more illuminated here with each day. That's what the moon looks like tonight. It's a 2/3 full moon. Now, we call it a waxing gibbous moon because waxing means it's getting we're seeing more of the sun's or more of the moonlight each night now, and that's the way it looks for October 1st this year. Okay, let's go on and take a look at some high temperatures here from the day yesterday, and Muskegon Airport topping the list. You don't see that too often. Wind was out of the east. High temperature there made it to 84. Coldwater 83. Kalamazoo, Fremont, and Ludington at 82. At Holland, this is kind of interesting. Both the airport and the beach had the same high temperature of 81. The wind was out of the east, and so we weren't getting any lake cooling at the beach, and so that's the reason for that. But you don't see that very often at all. Grand Rapids topped out at 80. So did Battle Creek. The Muskegon Pier made 77. Mackinac Island with an east wind. Of course, that's coming off of Lake Huron, so you can see the lake effect there with temperatures no warmer than the mid-60s. And while we've been enjoying this warm summer-like pattern, it's been winter in parts of Alaska. Utqiagvik reported a high temperature of 28 with light snow falling there. And a good portion of Alaska is starting to pick up some snow cover. So, yeah, it won't be too long before things will be changing here. All right, let's take a look at our sunrise and sunset time. We continue to lose. By the way, at Utqiagvik, they lost 9 minutes and 15 seconds of daylight just in the last day. So daylight crashes pretty quickly up there. Sunrise 7:40, sunset now 7:23, coming earlier in the evening. 11 hours and 43 minutes of daylight, average high and low 68 and 47. And by the way, if you look off to the right, that's the way it looked at sunset. Muskegon looking off toward the west, you can see some high clouds there. There were some jet contrails as well. But those high clouds will be pushing east, so we won't be quite as sunny here the next couple of days as what we have been here over the last 4 or 5 days or so. Record high temperature 89 in 1897, and the record low 27 in 1899. Both of those figures, the high and low temperature, going back into the 19th century, and in the 20th century and 21st century, we haven't been able to eclipse those extremes for October 1st. The lake forecast looks like this. We'll be seeing winds continuing out of the east, and that means waves should be fairly low. And with an offshore wind like that, 6 inches to a foot. There's the buoy temperatures. We mentioned before that the Muskegon buoy has been retrieved for the winter season, and they'll pick up most of the rest of the buoys too. I remember they left the Muskegon buoy in one year during the wintertime, and it broke loose, and it was kind of floating around the lake through the wintertime there. It was kind of interesting to kind of pinpoint where it was. Reed's Lake, water temperature there is held in the mid-70s, peaked at 75, but most of the day it was around 72, 73. And today will be, I think, the 20th day in a row with above average temperatures here. So we're on quite a stretch here, and that's the Muskegon Channel. A lot of boats going in and out in this warm weather pattern. All right, let's take a little time out here and thank one of our sponsors. We will be right back.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Well, take a look at this. This is the severe storm reports from Tuesday, and there were none, not a single report of severe weather anywhere in the USA during the day on Tuesday. No tornadoes, no hail, no severe wind reports reported. So that's kind of neat. Today, no severe weather is expected, at least no organized severe weather. The severe weather outlook area from the Storm Prediction Center for today calls for just a couple of small areas seeing general thunderstorms. And that will continue to be the case here for the next several days or so. So we're really in a severe weather drought going on right now. We'll go on to the next slide here and show you what it looks like for Wednesday. This is just those light green areas are areas where there could be a thunder shower, including the west coast of Washington State. They could have a thunder shower in Seattle. So it's just kind of interesting. And little narrow strip down there in Florida, and a little narrow strip along a cold front, a very weak cold front from Minnesota down to Nebraska. And the next picture shows you what Thursday looks like, and Thursday will be pretty similar. No organized severe weather, and dry weather is expected here in the state of Michigan once again. All right, we move on to the 66-hour rainfall map, and look, this is over a 3-day period. Look how much the United States is going to see no rain over the next 3 days. You can see a little bit of rain out through the Rockies. A big glob of heavier rain, though, 3 inches plus along the coastline there in Washington State. And a little bit of a mini atmospheric river going on there, with showers extending all the way down into central California and north central Nevada. And there will be more rain along the coastline of Florida. That east coast of Florida has had a ton of rain. Over 16.5 inches of rain has fallen just this month in Miami and in Fort Lauderdale. Take a look at tropical weather for a second. We have 2 hurricanes to talk about. Umberto, which is exiting off toward the northeast, and then that will be followed right in its path is Imelda. And Imelda is going to go right over Bermuda, it looks like. So outside of the island of Bermuda, hurricanes are really missing all the land areas here. Imelda was originally forecast to come on shore in the Carolinas, but that switched, and that was several days ago. And now it's expected just to head out to sea. We're pretty confident that that's the path that the storm will take. And it'll become just a windy, rainy, low-pressure system as it approaches Greenland, of all places. Let's take a look at the Eastern Pacific Ocean. We have Octave, which is a tropical storm, which is drifting off toward the north-northwest. And then there will be another storm developing. This one would be Priscilla. They'll be down to the letter P here, and that one will again move along just far enough away from the west coast of Mexico not to give them any major storms from this particular system. But it will continue to pump some moisture up into the desert southwest, where they continue to have a relatively wet fall with a number of days with scattered showers and thunder showers. In the Western Pacific, and not much going on. We had one hurricane come on shore in Vietnam. There are a couple of depressions that we're watching, but other than that, no major storms going on. And Neoguri escaped from the Western Pacific, heading out toward the Alaska area, and that will provide quite a rainy day for British Columbia and the southeast Alaska coast. We'll move on and take a look at the headlines for you. Dry weather expected through this coming weekend. How about that? Partly sunny skies, not mostly sunny now. We got a couple of days here where it's going to be partly sunny. There'll be some, the cloud cover will be thin at times, but there will be some around, and that should hold temperatures down. It will still be warmer than average here, but we can look for high temperatures today in the mostly mid-70s here instead of low 80s. Next chance of rain for us comes next Monday night. So we got a long stretch of dry weather ahead here for us. Taking a look at the forecast for today, we're calling for a high temperature of around 75 today. Low temperature 53. We'll call it partly sunny. The sun will be poking through from time to time. Humidity levels fairly low, and winds will be out of the east. Most of the day 5 to 10. It may kick up to 10 to 15 briefly here during the afternoon. And look at some high temperatures here across the state of Michigan. You can see readings will be generally in the mid-70s, and with an east wind, it ought to be just as warm in Benton Harbor as it will be in South Haven, probably just as warm in Ludington as it will be in places like Hersey and Big Rapids or so, also at 73, Traverse City 73. And you can see the temperatures up in the UP about the same, a lot of days in the 70s. It'll be cooler again on Mackinac Island, where the wind will be east off Lake Huron, and they'll probably see mid-60s during the afternoon. For Thursday, much the same, maybe a couple degrees warmer here on Thursday. We've got 77 going for Kalamazoo. Look for temperatures to reach the 80s over much of Wisconsin and Illinois, and that area will be moving our way here as we head into the weekend. What continues warm in the Upper Peninsula, and by the way, the lake isn't cooling off much, and storing up a little heat that could bring us some lake effect here as the cold air settles in during the month of November. So keep that in mind. We could be seeing a flip here to some wintry weather here during the month of November, as it often happens this time of year in the fall. On we go, and we'll take a look at some of the high temperatures over the next 5 days. We'll call it partly sunny for Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Sunny for Friday and Saturday. No rain through the 5-day period. Next couple of days, mid 70s here. A pretty cool Thursday morning, upper 40s for the city, and near 40 for some of those cool spots like Big Rapids and Baldwin. Look at the temperatures on Friday and Saturday. That's an average temperature of 67, and we're 83 on Friday and 84 on Saturday. We haven't hit any record high temperatures yet. We'll come close here over the weekend, though. And taking a look at the long-range outlook, again, the 8 to 14-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. Here's all that red again, and it's been right in predicting that. Above average temperatures are expected. They're pretty sure of that. And we'll take a look at the rainfall map that goes along with it for October 8th through the 14th. And it gives us near normal rainfall here. There'll be a little bit more rain for parts of the warm areas of the country. Florida picking up more rain. And that next tropical storm, which will be Priscilla, will pump some moisture up. And that means another round of scattered showers and thunder showers for Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. So interesting. All right, we got some extra information for you from Alex and Michelle. October 1, 1890, Yosemite National Park was established. That's an amazing place. I have never been there. That is Teddy Roosevelt, who was quite and by the way, you can see the waterfall there to the left of Teddy. And I don't know who is that with him. Would that be Ansel Adams, maybe? I'm not sure. Kitty, you got a suggestion for me? We have a cat here next to me. Can you see? There's the cat. There he goes, walking right across my cat. You can't walk on my computer here. They're wonderful, but they are annoying at times. But that is Teddy Roosevelt there, and he was big on establishing the national parks and setting aside land for everybody to enjoy. So that was neat. All right, October 1, 1971, Disney World opens in Orlando. Disneyland opened in 1955 in Anaheim, California, outside of LA. Intended by Walt Disney to add more attractions, constructed from 1967 to 1971, most visited recreational area in the world, 58 million visitors per year, and 77,000 employees as of 5 years ago. Epcot opened on October 1 on the 11th anniversary in 1982. I have been to Disney World, I think 6 times by my count, 5 or 6 times anyway. And in fact, I went with my parents when it first opened in 1971. Not that year, but the following year, 72, I went. And that was, my dad wanted to see Disney World, and he wanted to ride on the Space Mountain, the roller coaster there. I had glasses, of course, that I wore. And when they made you take your glasses off, or they encouraged you to do that. And, I didn't know what was coming next because I had my glasses off, but had a lot of fun. And my parents did too. My parents just had a great time. They were in their 50s at the time, I believe, and just had an awesome time there. We went around, did everything. That was back at the time when you had tickets. You didn't have a general admission, but you had, and it was crazy. This ride was an A ticket plus an E ticket. This ride was a B ticket plus a D ticket. So you were running the kiosks so that you could buy more tickets to go on more of the rides. The riverboat there, the paddle boat, I had a good time there. I remember that. We went there on our honeymoon. I believe we might have a picture of that. Did we include that? Yes, look at that. Those are family pictures from Disney. On the left side, a clearer picture. You can see me and my wife Gail in the background. Step-grandchildren Maya and Alex with their dad there. And we just had a great time. That was a January trip. In fact, I think it was the end of January. So it was a little bit cooler. We were wearing jackets there, but we had a great time seeing the place. And on the right, that's a picture that I took of my wife in front of, that's called King Steffen's Castle. It's not spelled the same way as my name, but that is technically King Steffen's Castle. It's supposed to be Cinderella's castle. But my wife is doing her touchdown pose. And we had a great time. We went to, and I'm going to dig through our honeymoon pictures. That was one I could find on spur of the moment. But I have better pictures from that trip. We were gone a week. I think we did 4 days at Disney and then 4 days on Sanibel Island. And we just had a fantastically great time. It was an awesome honeymoon back then. That was in April of 1978. Okay, what else we got to show everybody here? October 1, political birthdays. Jimmy Carter, 1924. And of course, he lived to be 100 years old. James Earl Carter, to be specific. And Bill Rehnquist, a Supreme Court judge who was born on this date in 1924. We have anything else from this date, October 1? October 1, other birthdays. William Boeing, the guy that's the Boeing aircraft company named after, born on this date in 1881. And flight, I've mentioned this before a couple of times, but flight is absolutely amazing. 1903, we go to Kitty Hawk and have the first airplane flight from the Wright brothers. And in 1969, we land a man on the moon. So, William Boeing certainly contributed to the advances in aviation technology, and we thank him for that posthumously. Anything else about October 1st, which is interesting? October 1, 1915, Franz Kafka published this novella. It centers around protagonist Igor Samsa, who wakes up one morning inexplicably transformed into a monstrous vermin, or as some translations say, a bug or a roach. There was an offshoot of this called The Fly. Do you remember that, where a guy turns into a gigantic fly? God, who was it? The actor who's the piano player did that. All right, let's go on to the next slide and learn more about Kafka. The Metamorphosis. Note, it should go without saying, but this is a photo of Franz Kafka and not the roach man he depicted. Interesting. Wow. He almost looks a little bit like a Vulcan in that picture. It could be a relative of Spock or something like that. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. All right, we have something else, I believe. Oh, we don't. We are at the end of the show here, it looks like. And of course, I mentioned every time I show this that was me in the middle of summer, July 22, north of Lake Louise in Canada, this past year. So once again, thanks for staying with us until the end. Keep in mind that the weather stays the same here, just a few degrees cooler today with a bit more cloud cover, and then heating things up near record high temperatures expected for the coming weekend. Next chance for rain is next Monday night. Have yourself a good one. Once again, thanks so much for staying with us.